Okay, I think I'm live. Um, just gonna wait just a little bit just to make sure this is live. Okay, so I'm gonna give just really quick my thoughts on. Again, this is off the cuff. This is literally like me live, and you're probably watching the rerun. But my thoughts on all-inclusive wedding venues. So, um, on one hand, should you do it? And then on the other, should you just hire out all your vendors? What's the advantages and what's the disadvantages to all inclusive? I know we have a video somewhere. It's actually like more polished probably than this, but I just wanted to be off the cuff with it and just kind of go over it maybe one more time within this kind of setting here. So, yeah, I mean, so just a little bit of a, I don't know, not teaser, you know what I mean? So basically, my wife and I, we did go with a more kind of like inclusive, I went a pretty all inclusive actually, wedding venue, and we really enjoyed it. But there are a couple caveats to that. I'm gonna kind of go over some that are in Colorado, so you guys can kind of see and get an idea, and then we'll kind of talk about it a little bit more in depth. And just because there's like all inclusive, I feel like, and then there's like those in between where it's like they include some things but they don't include other things. So um, let me just pop up maybe that document, and then we can kind of go. Let's see, we have the document. So once I pull up the document, well, I'll just remember the vendors as we go. Hopefully, I don't miss any vendors, but we'll talk about it as we go. So most like all inclusive. Let me just go over this really quick, like what's included in like all inclusive vendors typically, and then kind of go over what you might have to still hire out. So typically with an all-inclusive place, I can just even think of our wedding because our wedding was pretty all-inclusive. Is you obviously get the venue, right? So you get a venue. A lot of times you get like a planner or coordinator, like like sometimes a day of coordinator. A lot of times you do, and a lot of times you also kind of get a planner that is specialized in the venue, obviously. And you're including a lot of the vendors already. It's pretty easy planning, honestly. Like they just choose from their list. Um, and then you also get things a lot of times like catering. That's another big one. Even officiants. You can get officiants in the like all inclusive venues a lot of the times. DJs typically they're a different company, but they hire out that's from the same company. So and then if so like let's say for example you want to hire maybe another DJ that's not included in the venue. Sometimes they charge you an extra fee for that, or they don't even allow it. So just keep that in mind. Um, Typically, florals are not included in all inclusive, but sometimes there are like sometimes they'll do like decor. So decor is a lot of times included in like one of those more all inclusive venues. Let's see, like chairs and stuff can be a lot of times be included for the most part. You have like chairs, decor, catering. Am I missing anything? I think that's about it. So what is typically not included would be like photographer, videographer. Some all inclusive do actually have, they at least have preferred photographers. And then they sometimes do have photographers that have like a non compete. I've been to like, I think one venue that did have I actually worked for the photographer. I did video for the photographer who basically had like a monopoly on the venue, which is very interesting because typically that's like something that's more taste based. So a lot of times like taste based stuff they don't, which surprises me that DJs typically fall into like the all inclusive, but it's typically a company. And when you think all inclusive, you think like saving money, maybe more affordable. So that's probably why, because like most DJs that are not as or they're not just like the cookie cutter DJ that I would kind of classify like play on Spotify kind of deal, they are going to be more expensive. So that's maybe why. I don't know. But yeah, photographers, videographers are typically not in the all inclusive. Florists are typically not in all inclusive. And then let me think. I'm missing anything. Sometimes catering can, but most of the times it is included. So let's dive into my computer quick, and I kind of show you some that come up off the top of my head, and I can show you the one we went with, we were really happy with. But if I look here, I'm gonna pull up my screen. Okay, so Wedgwood is like it is like, how do I describe Wedgwood weddings? There are a ton of them now. I think they just bought two new venues just this last year. So they've got it down to like this science basically, so that they are very. I'm not gonna say customized. They're not super customizable, but they are like very um, they've got it down to a science because they run it like a business. So they're very business oriented. So like for example, a lot of times Wedgwood you actually get um, typically photographers are not included, but they have sometimes have the preferred photographers. But you're gonna get like dining, so like the dining's included. The DJ is typically included. They typically hire out from another company. I think DJ Maestro for most of them, if I remember right. But you're gonna get like dining. Um, you're gonna get like all the rental stuff. They do officiants as well because I always see like the same officiant guy doing, and he's been around for a while, doing a lot of the weddings. So, um, yeah, you're gonna get that officiants, dining, catering, kind of like a coordinator, essentially. So kind of like coordinator planner. And then yeah, they've got it down. They've got procedures they follow because they are definitely more of like a corporate kind of deal. And if, as you guys kind of see here, you have like things that fall into. This one's really close to my house. This Mountain View Ranch. The Tapestry House is pretty cool. I really think it's a really cool place. I shot at Boulder Creek a ton as well. I haven't shot Log Cabin. The new ones they have. Some of these are in California, so they're like more California. Oh, Ashley Ridge I've shot at. Not a huge fan of that one. It's kind of just like lackluster. What is it called? The one out in Estes Park. Not Camp Hale. I'm thinking the wrong one. Shoot. Let's just browse all venues. So I can show you guys. Let's see. Delaterra. Yeah, Delaterra, right there. That one is one of their new ones that they just bought, and they're like redoing a bunch of stuff in that one. Yeah, so I've shot. Let's see. Some of these aren't even in Colorado. Oh, and they got like capacity and everything too, so you got to make sure you're within the capacity. Typically, they're fairly big capacity, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Mountain View Ranch has like 2 venues there. So there's that one. I've shot there. It's right next to my house too. Let's see. Black Forest, that one's out in like towards the springs. Black Forest, like out east of the springs, I guess would be the way to put. I've shot there quite a few times. Tapestry House is in Fort Collins. But yeah, you kind of get the gist, right? So Wedgwood is a huge one. Over down in like Monument, you have Hearth House, which is going to be kind of all inclusive. It's good. It's definitely got a lot more stuff. And then Pinecrest. So we actually got married at Pinecrest, and we really enjoyed it. We really liked all of the venues, what they provided, and they provided like great cake, great catering. We had catering options, so we could actually choose the different options. I don't think Wedgwood actually does that. I think you just kind of are stuck with. You can maybe choose different sides and everything, but we actually had different like caterers. So it was more like all inclusive, but they had their almost preferred vendors, essentially. So it was really cool. Well, really enjoyed that. A lot of the stuff was already there. We didn't have florals. We actually brought in our own flowers, which they let us do. And then like we brought in cornhole. They had like a bar there and everything too. You had an option to kind of add that in. So pull it up. Okay, right here. And then we had like a day of coordinator. Her name was Faith, and she kind of like day of coordinator, kind of planner, kind of kept us on track, kind of deal. Their website's not super great, in my opinion, but again, not bad at all. I think we ended up paying about $11,000. Like this is like you pay per person, okay? So a lot of these like all inclusive places, you kind of just pay per person, because you're paying for like the catering and everything. That's going to be the main thing when you're paying for people, the catering. And if you're doing like an open bar or anything like that, that can get kind of pricey per head as well. So just some things to kind of keep in mind when you're doing that. Let me cut back to myself. But then there's a lot of venues that maybe include just certain aspects. And if they're not inclusive, they might have a preferred vendor list. And those vendors might actually give a discount for anybody booking there. So I would be checking into all that to make sure that maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. And typically, when you do all inclusive, it's going to be a lot cheaper than if you were to hire out everybody individually, because these preferred vendors, or these vendors that always work with the venue, they get reliable work, so they're gonna do it typically for cheaper, and it's kind of like a deal that probably they're making with the venue as well. So you're typically gonna get it a little bit more affordable. I know our wedding was definitely on the more affordable side. Just so you guys know what wedding prices are kind of running, and we had about, like, I think we had like 88 at the end of the day or something like that. So we had about 88 people, and it cost us, I think it was just over $11,000 minus photographer and videographer. We actually that's a whole complicated situation where we actually hired somebody out, but I actually ended up working for them for like 6 weddings, which I think way overpaid for it. If I would have just shot 6 weddings, we would have obviously been able to afford that way faster. But it was just kind of the deal worked out, and I don't know. I was not a fan of our photographer videographer. Some things to maybe kind of watch. I could talk about in a whole nother video. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of the gist of all inclusive. Hopefully, I didn't ramble on too much. I think that's all I really have to say. I just want to make this real quick. I've probably already gone over by quite a bit. So yeah, I'm already at like 11 minutes. So hopefully, you guys find that somewhat helpful. If not, let me know what I can do better. If you guys have any recommendations for what you want to kind of see, what you guys want to see later. I know there's probably like nobody watching these videos right now, but the idea is to have these videos posted and ready to go, so that when people start to come in the group, that they can kind of watch it and get some value out of that. So, all right, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys got any questions, let me know. You can feel free to email me or just leave comments anonymously or anonymously. All right, cool. All right.